Talking playoffs.
Jalen Rose, and the greatest player in NBA postseason history.
Where?
Paul Pierce.
All right.
I'm just actually obligated to read the teleprompter. My name is Michelle Beadle. If you've watched NBA basketball all season long, it's good to see you. If you're just tuning in for the playoffs, where have you been? Come on in. Guys, memories of your very first playoffs are what, Stan?
Well, my very first playoff game as a head coach was Dwayne Wade's first playoff game as a player, and he hit a game winner with 1.3 seconds to go against Baron Davis in New Orleans to get a win, and we went on to win that series in 7 games. So my first memory is a good one.
It's a good one. Okay, it's a good one. What about you, Jay?
My first memory, I was going against your San Antonio Spurs, 1995. They had the best record in the NBA.
Look at you.
They had the MVP of the league in David Robinson, and Coach Bernie Bickerstaff decided, since I was playing point guard and I was 6'8", and Dennis Rodman wasn't much of a shooter, my charge was to guard Dennis Rodman.
Oh, sure.
And I held him to 11 rebounds.
Oh, that's
all right.
How about that? No doubt, because he was averaging 17. That was my goal.
Ooh, headband Paul.
Headband Paul. My first memory, I was very nervous playing against the Eastern Conference champs, against Iverson. Oh, man, this was something I couldn't wait for the stage. It's something that it was like a proving ground to me. You know, I always felt like I would have been underrated up until that point, and it was just like a stage I wanted to get to say, look, if I can go out here and do what I need to do, I can put my name on the map. And I was able to do that my first playoff series.
Nerves? Do you remember? Real quick?
Good nerves. It was good nerves for me.
Good nerves.
I was a rookie, so definitely nerves.
Definitely nerves.
I was just excited to get going. No, this time of year, it's always exciting, the playoffs. This is what you've worked for all year. And this first weekend right here today and tomorrow, the best weekend of the year to me, because all of these teams now, all 16 of them, have great optimism and think they can win, and so it's fantastic.
And you can't average 30 and 11 being too nervous, Beads. I'm sorry.
Okay, I need you to not touch me again.
But it was like your
throw those numbers in, Paul.
It was like his 10th season.
Yeah. It's going to be a long one. By the way, glad you mentioned Iverson in there, because that is exactly where we need to go right now. It's the biggest storyline starting this postseason off. It's brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors, and it's in Philadelphia, where we find the lovely Cassidy Hubbard with what is probably the most important medical update of the day.
Yeah. Update you're asking me for. I don't know. And that is a direct quote from both Brett Brown and Joel Embiid. We just met with Brett Brown. He said he's going to check and see with Joel. I walked with Joel after he worked out on the court. He had a big clunky brace on when he was when he was warming up. And when I walked off with him, he said, I don't know. I go, for real, Joel? And he goes, yeah, I don't know. He also walked over to Rondé Hollis Jefferson and Spencer Dinwiddie, and basically he told them jokingly, I'm not playing today, guys. I'm not playing today because I'm too scared of y'all. It looks like they were talking, you know, a little bit of junk, as, you know, Joel Embiid likes to do. But that's what he said to them. Look, it could be a whole lot of gamesmanship, but I will say yesterday during practice, he did say whatever I have been feeling the past couple days has been different. And even though the scans are good, it has gotten worse. And he said ultimately the decision will be up to him, because he knows how his pain is and he knows how his body feels. If he doesn't get to go, guys, Boban Marjanovic will get the start.
Boban. All right, Cassidy, thank you so much. By the way, I know you guys got angry with all the buddy-buddying that was going on pregame there. The enemies.
Buddy.
Yep, I saw that. Jalen,
changed. It has changed.
Come on, that's too.
And he might not even play.
He might not, although Brooklyn has said all week that they're not buying it. They actually think this whole thing is a mind game. But that being said, whether he plays, whether he doesn't play, either way, you would believe that he'd be somewhat diminished, and he is a big part of their offense, Stan. So what do you do? How does this work?
Well, yeah, he's crushed them this year. He's averaged 30 and 14 against them. Marjanovic crushed them in the last game, 16 points and 18 rebounds. They can't defend inside. But if Embiid doesn't go, they've got to get Ben Simmons attacking the basket as he does the score here, or to create for other people. He gets Mike Scott a 3 here, collapse in the defense. And then they always play this handoff game with J.J. Redick. He comes off, shoots threes, or the threat of his 3, fake handoff, and Simmons gets to the lane. And then they've got 2 great one-on-one players in Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris here in the post, certainly going to exploit mismatches all night long.
How much of a concern is this, not just today? I mean, looking at the big picture, round 1, round 2 potentially. How big a concern?
I think if the Sixers could have picked an opponent that didn't have bigs that score a lot of points, the Nets would be the one that they could ease Joel into a series. As Coach mentioned, opposing bigs have tortured the Nets inside. So what do you do without Embiid? You play a big lineup. Mike Scott plays like a stretch 4. You talked about Tobias, you talked about Jimmy Butler, but I think the key is going to be Ben Simmons. I think he's going to attack the basket for layups, for dunks. He's going to get out in transition. I anticipate he's going to have a big game starting tonight.
I mean, if he doesn't play today, this is a huge concern for me just long-term because the 76ers have championship aspirations. They went all in with this trade to say, hey, we're going to go get Tobias. We went and got Jimmy Butler. We're trying to win it now. And so if they go deeper into the playoffs, say they beat the Nets, it's a concern because how the wear and tear, if Joel Embiid comes back, is going to affect them as they get later into the deeper rounds. And so this could put a damper into their championship hopes.
And for years to come. I mean, they've made Simmons and Embiid the cornerstones of their organization, and you can't count on this guy being healthy. This is really difficult for Philadelphia going forward.
Well, this is the game that starts everything off for us today. And it's just 1 of 4. We're going to give you a little breakdown on what you can expect on the course of the next, I don't know, 15 hours or so. How about Magic and Raptors? Toronto looking to take advantage of the lack of LeBron in the East. His Cavs team's had the 6's number for the last 3 seasons. It's a whole new ball game now. Then over on ABC, Warriors quest to a 4th title in 5. Starts with the Clippers. The only teams to win 4 and 5, Lakers in the late 40s, early 50s. Bill Russell's Celtics in the 50s and 60s. That's some history. And we close out the day on ESPN with some Spurs Nuggets. Denver making its first appearance since 2013, and the Spurs have tied a record 22 straight playoffs.
22 twos.
Jimmy Butler, he's getting prepared for Game 1 while wearing a Dwayne Wade warm-up shirt. He was at the party all week. I did see that. 76ers hosting Nets. And in the role of David against Goliath, a team nobody saw coming. Coach of the Year candidate Doc Rivers talks with Michael Wilbur.
What's good? You're now rocking with the best of Bro Parrish along with NBA.com senior writer Sekou Smith on the race to the 2019 Kia NBA MVP. Now, if you are as astute as I think you are, America, you've been paying attention to this man and his MVP ladder that he updates every single week. Time to put a bow on this thing.
Yeah, you look like you're feeling good, too, Ro. Is it because with the finish line?
We're definitely at the finish line, you know, and we're going to start with the process, Joel Embiid, who at one point this season called himself the most unstoppable player in the league. Now, you see everybody on the screen, but how does that statement that they made along with his play impact his positioning on the MVP ladder?
Well, look, he's right. He is the most unstoppable player in the league when he's healthy and engaged and at his best. The problem is for Philadelphia, that's not always the case. You look at the number of games he's played in the past 3 seasons. It's gotten better. Still not up to MVP snuff, if you ask me.
Now, what about Embiid's improvement? I mean, he doesn't seem to be playing enough games. When he's in, he's effective and efficient, but he seems to be hurt a lot.
Well, look, he's had injury issues since he came into the league, Ro, and that has dogged him throughout the course of his career. Still battling it now, going into the first round of the playoffs, and we don't know for sure if he's available or not. But when he does play, when he's engaged and when he's locked in, he is absolutely the most physically unstoppable force in the league right now, outside of Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Been impressive to see him all season. He put up double-doubles left and right, approaching 60 in the regular season. The numbers were off the charts, and, of course, we all know that he trolls on a regular basis on social media. Great follow, just in case you're not following. But then there is Russell Westbrook. He took home the MVP trophy back in the 2016-2017 season. The first player to average a triple-double in 3 decades, has done that ever since in the past 3 seasons, which is crazy. Think about that for a second, while leading his team to the playoffs each year. But some say he might not even be the best player on his team.
Yes, and I agree, and I think it's not about being the best player on the team, it's about having the best season. And Russ, let's be honest, he struggled to start up the worst high-volume deep shooter in the league right now, you know, and that's one of those things about his game that has to get corrected. But when you look at the triple-doubles, 3 straight seasons, Ro, you talk to former players, and they will tell you, unbelievable for a guy to be able to go out and play in this fashion year after year.
No doubt about it. You see the stats on the screen, they're just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I don't feel like he's appreciated enough, but I mean, because nobody had done what he's accomplished in the past 3 decades since the Big O did it back in the day.
Yeah, and listen, let's be honest. With the way the game is played these days, the usage rate some of the players around the league have, we've seen an uptick in triple-doubles all over the league, not just Russ, but he's taking it to that next level, doing it night after night, averaging a triple-double for 3 straight seasons. Stunning accomplishment for anybody to do in this league.
Now, he's built like Karl Malone. His idol is Michael Jordan. King James won his last MVP at the age of 28 when he was balling with the Heat. You know, the oldest player to win an MVP was Karl Malone, who I mentioned. MJ won at age 34. At 34, LeBron has put up some of the best numbers of his career. However, he is not in the top 10 for the first time in a long time. Why is he not worthy to raise this trophy this season?
It's context, Ro. You know, the MVP trophy is handed out to the guy who not only has the most spectacular season, but also within the context of lifting his team up to another level. We all know what's going on in L.A. right now. The Lakers,
it's crazy.
Turmoil, trying to figure out how to, get off the mat after a disastrous first season with LeBron in tow. The injury, of course, made a huge difference. The time LeBron missed, he goes down. They're 4th in the West. He comes back. They're trying to fight their way back into the playoff mix all season long. Doesn't happen. You don't blame LeBron for that. You do respect the fact that he put up LeBron-like numbers this year. But the context is what cost him this time around.
The context is oh so important right now. He doesn't go to the playoffs for the first time since the 05-06 season. The Lakers haven't gone the last 6. It'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. Put you on the spot right now. He turns 35. Is there a chance that he re-enters the MVP ladder and maybe hoist the trophy next season?
It would be a real story for him to do that. It would be a turnaround story. I don't know that LeBron is going to have a chance to win another one, but, hey, they got more important issues in L.A. They got to get back to the playoffs first.
No doubt about it. We got 3 through 5 coming at you next, so don't go anywhere. One guy is the leader for Defensive Player of the Year. One player is the facilitator of the offense at the center position, and the other is the best shooter of all time. But are they worthy to hoist the trophy? Coming back, we got the ladder.